Hello. Sorry, guys. I'm adjusting everything. Can you hear me well, guys? It has been so disorganized today. I don't know what happened. I had already everything like set up. I don't know, why. Um, um, I had to restart the live streams a lot of times. I actually was changing the time because my mic wasn't charging. It was with the red light, so it wasn't fully charged. So I was like, okay, I need more minutes to, to finally charge it for it to be full. And so I wanted to change the time, and all of a sudden, like I couldn't. It made me go live instead of changing. I was changing the setup. It was so messy. So I had to eliminate that, then do another one. um I think that I done two live streams. Thank you. I think I done two live streams that I had to delete because it's not like I wanted to go live in the way in the time that I had like updated. Oh no, no, no. It's very messy. Very messy today. I don't know if it's the energy of the actors that I'm reading for today, but so messy. So messy. So I do apologize, guys, for me going, coming and going, coming and going. Sorry. It's just that I had to adjust things, and also like I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm here with my mate. So if you see me with my mate, it's because I'm sort of having breakfast here. But I think that the main issue was the mic that it wasn't charged. So but I believe that the mic is not working very well. This is why, because I did put it to charge like a couple of hours before, but it wasn't fully charged. So, but next week I'm getting the new one, so I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm not going to have issues with the mic because it drives me crazy. How are you guys? Let's see if I can, because I also wanted to put. Hello, Danya. Maybe it's the lighting. This also, yesterday with my dad, we were like painting, we were like arranging a few things here, especially with my table, because I had issues with my table. So, we finally were able to fix it. Um, but it took a lot of work. And it was getting late, everything was like moved to a side. So if today things like the cables and everything, it looks messy over here, I apologize, but it's because I didn't have the time. I tried to put everything back in the place, but it's still because there's some painting, so I need to let it dry a bit. um but yeah, trying to adjust, accommodate. So what is it today? Is there like a full moon? Is there something energetically going on? Because why do I feel like I'm in a rush? Does anyone know? Where are the astrologers in my community? It's very early for some. Oh, it's 6 a.m. Wow, it's very early, Daniel. Well, the, are you the one that you're like, I just came back from work? Ah, it's waning the sun out for moon. I woke up at 3 a.m. Oh, wow. When I wake up at 3 a.m., I cannot go back to sleep. I don't know. I thought that maybe this has to do with age. I read somewhere that probably is age, that my sleep gets interrupted. It doesn't matter how I set everything, like, oh, I will go to sleep at this hour and I will wake up at this hour and I will try to sleep the 8 hours that everyone says that recommends that we should sleep. But No, today I'm free, just new medication doing its things. Oh, wow. Yeah, is that like the secondary effects that no one talks about? I have insomnia for years. Wow. I'm going to see if I can type the name so you guys know. Who I'm reading on today. Hmm. See, this is why it's important for me um, to have a, another like a tablet or another device that shows me the chat, because in here where I'm with the camera, shooting. Um, oh my, what is this? Um, in here the chat is already stuck. I cannot see the rest of the conversation. If I would be looking up here, I would be like, okay, the last thing that Danya said, oh, it's like, no, today I'm free. Just new medication and it things. In there, it got stuck. But thank God, because I have the tablet over here, I can see that you written another things, another comments later. So thank God for a second device. I see my mom going from 32 to 55, and her sleep has been great. All these 23, 10, 23, all these 23 years. Oh, to be lucky. Yeah, I think that it depends, honestly, like with maybe um I used to have very demanding jobs, like physically, because I would be at the store, so I would be, coming and going and just being like not seated actually. So I think that in that case, I would be, I would spend a lot of energy. So yeah, I would be tired. Like, I don't think that it's about being tired. I think that it's like when you sit down, for example, in my case, when I would sit down or I would just like end, the work, and I would be home and I would be sitting, because even on my job, if I had a break, I would be sitting, but I would, unconsciously, I know that I only have, 20 minutes to have this break seated. So I wouldn't even relax in there. I would be like, okay, I have to get back to work in 20 minutes. So it's not like a break, actually. Um, but for example, when I would be home and I would be seated down or I would go to sleep, it seems like my body knows, like, oh, finally this is the moment. So I would just, yeah, fall full asleep. but now because I do a lot of things like online, and also, I'm working at a school, so I do have um more interactions with people also coming and going. But it's not that people want me to do physical. I'm used to, like, I really like kind of work where I can get involved, where I can be, where you can be like, this is why me and my dad, we are such a team here at my house, because we're always thinking like, okay, what do we fix? What do we do? He doesn't have like sons, but I'm like the son that he didn't have, because I'm the only child that he has. But he's like, I have to, work on the ceiling, or I have to do this, and I have to, move this. I'm like, count on me. Like, I will do the work with you. I will move the things. I will lift the things. Of course, I'm not as fast or as strong as a man, but I will do it at my pace. But I will do it. So um I like to get involved like this. I get excited. It's like I get motivated when I have to do things. Like when you're like, can you help me? Like, let's go here, let's go get these things, let's organize this, let's clean this. For me, it's like, wow. But because now my role is more, because of counseling, and because, watching over the children, not the children, but the teenagers mostly. And I do have some clients that, of course, are adults. So there's this level of me having to slow down and just listen and be present. Also, tarot, reading tarot, you have to be, centered, just like I mentioned the other day. You have to be, calm. You don't have to have interruptions. Like I said, this is why sometimes I get a bit, annoyed when things are not in order, because this is the moment where I read the cards for you guys, and for people that do the request. So for me, it's very important to, um, to be organized, to be professional as well. But I do love the rush of, of being busy. I do like it. I do like it. And this is something that is very interesting, because, I have lupus, that is the autoimmune disease. I had it since I was like 13, 14 years old. I got diagnosed with that. Then I have thyroid. But on the contrary of what people think about, people that have thyroid, like, initially, like when I start very early in the morning, I feel very like energetic. I want to get all the things done. I'm very, I get up very quickly. I'm very full of energy. Then later, maybe, in the afternoon, I start feeling a bit sleepy. I start feeling like a bit like I'm starting to zoom in. Probably there's people that are talking to me, like, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm slowing down. It seems like I'm falling asleep while standing, something like this. It's like I'm no longer, the energy is no longer there. But some people, when you have thyroids, or when you have other, autoimmune diseases, there's people that really, it affects the routine. They feel tired, they feel a bit like, slow, um like it slows down their energy. But for me, I don't feel it like that. I don't feel it like that. I think that being without doing anything, that's what drains my energy the most. I have to have something to do, because if it seems like I cannot just be sit still. This is why admire so much people that maybe they do these live streams where they just talk, and they just talk, and they have an amazing community, and even me, like, if it's someone talking about something like really interesting, I could, go on the live and be there participating. But for me, since I do live streams, for me, with the tarot, it gives me the tool, the perfect excuse for me to be seated here. But, it's like, no, but I have something to do. I have something to do. It's not just sitting here, just talking, about how I feel about things. Is that the new galaxy lamp? No, you know what it is? I changed the colors because, it has different. This is a sunset lamp. It's a sunset lamp. You know that you see more of it because we painted yesterday. We painted a bit, the wall was already painted, but it was a bit like, we cleaned it, and we painted because we didn't have white to paint it was white, the wall. We had a bit of that tail kind of green, very light green that we had, that, it was a leftover of when we painted upstairs. So we painted the wall. It's a slightly green, the color. But it looks like, it goes very well. Today I changed it because I usually put the color that is a bit more like purple. And I wanted to change it today. And I put this one. But it's a sunset lamp. No, I do have the galaxy lamp. I do have the galaxy lamp. And that's the one that I say that I feel so bad, guys, because I spent so much money on that lamp and it won't stop talking. It says all the time, there's this random voice that it says Bluetooth mode. I think every 5 seconds, or every five, sometimes it stops and every 5 minutes. Bluetooth mode. And I looked for tutorials. I tried, my best because obviously these things cost money. Um, so I tried my best to make it work, but no, at some point it says Bluetooth mode, and it scares me. Like, can you imagine me being here pulling the cars and then you hear this random voice? Like, it is no, I cannot. And it's so unfortunate because the lights are so pretty. But I guess I made a bad purchase. Maybe this is like a very low quality kind of brand. I think that it was, it had defects because that usually it comes with the USB cord, and with the one that it came with, it didn't work. So I had to get another one to make it like to be able to turn it on. Um, so I don't know, maybe I got a bad one. I feel like when you're constantly busy, you don't know what to do when you're not busy. Yes. I mean, I do have North Node in Taurus. So, the energy that I have to embrace, that I don't like it very much, but I have to embrace the energy of slowing down and just enjoying the moment. And for me, that I'm a very, you know, for me, it's not about ambition, but I've always like I feel really good about myself when you know when I'm doing things, especially going from here and there, just walking and just you know but um Taurus energy sometimes is about sitting down a bit. um this is why it's so meaningful, sometimes for me, when I see the Buddha. This Buddha is very precious for the channel, for the community. I remember when I would move around, every once in a while you would see the Buddha if I would do the live streams on the other office. And there was a moment where I didn't have it, but people didn't notice. But then I went back to the same office, and there the Buddha was. And now that I came here, I remember that I had it initially, but then I removed it, and people were like, where is the Buddha? The Buddha is always like behind me. And I love this Buddha because I do have another one in the front of my house, like in the entrance of my house, that is more for protection. And this one is more for meditation. And I always think about Buddha like this very faithful energy of Taurus. Like if you see the Buddha is meditating. The Buddha is sitting and is just, in the present moment. And when I think about embracing Taurus energy, I think about the Buddha. I think that for me, it's having a role or a profession that demands of me to slow down and sit down and pay attention and just be chill, be calm, be comfortable. For me, it was very challenging because even though I love what I'm doing now, I seen the effects on my body. Like I gained a lot of weight. I have like 10 kilograms more than my usual weight. So I do feel a bit uncomfortable physically with because all my life I struggle with you know losing weight, then gaining weight, then losing weight. And I used to be really skinny, but because of thyroids and everything, my whole body has changed. But it had changed ever since I was a child, because when I had stretch marks at 14 because of the corticoids that I would have to drink, I would have to consume for lupus. But in that case, I didn't gain weight on my body. It was more like on my face. I will get the moon face, because of the medication. And then it will go away. But in my body, I think that I would just maybe gain like 4 kilos, like not, it wasn't like I was heavy, or chubby. I wasn't chubby. But for my skin that was very sensitive back then, and I was just a teenager, I got stretch marks because it seems like my body or my skin wasn't prepared for the change. And back then, no doctor explained to me what a stretch mark was. I remember I freaked out so much when I started to see the marks. Um, but after thyroid, it's more like you gain weight. I gain weight on the on the thighs, on the arms. And it takes a while for me. I'm used to it. Like I think that I don't know. When I was in my 20s, I was very skinny. I never had curves, never. I never had like hips, like a shape. No, I was always a skinny. So for me, I guess like having a few pounds now is like I have a bit more of shape, even if it's the shape of a pear. but but I'm like, okay. Uh, but sometimes I'm like, I should go back to a more active role so I could lose a bit of the weight. Um, but I guess that this is all part of slowing down, and also of being happy. Because honestly, you can lose weight, but because you are stressed, and probably because you don't eat very, very well. That's what happened to me, while I had these very demanding roles, where I had to be all the time running and all the time going places and carrying things. It was very demanding for me. It's just that I was hooked in this sort of dynamic of the corporation, of the place, of the competitiveness, of everything was so competitive, everything it has to be delivered now. So I guess I was immersed in that culture. So for me, it was like, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't have lunch today. Well, I will eat when I get home. And then I would get home and I would be so tired that I wouldn't eat. So, you know, to all the things, it has, it has its consequences. Sometimes, this is why I think that probably the pandemic, at least for me, the pandemic, it was like, stop, stop, stop going back, because I tried to get in the same roles with different companies, and it didn't go very well because it's so toxic. Today is so toxic. It's more toxic than ever. and I was like, I have my values. Thank God I have an education, so I can work with my abilities in another in another environments. But if it wasn't for the pandemic, probably I would be still I would be still in the same culture. My node is in Pisces. I'm not very knowledgeable on nodes. Oh, so you were a Virgo in your past life, Draculaura? You are very the South node that is Virgo in your case is like the energy that you come to embrace is an energy that is very known to you. You know it. You know what it feels like to be a Virgo. So it's easier for you to go back to that energy of like you recognize yourself more in the Virgo traits, and maybe Pisces, you're like, oh no, but Pisces. Like, oh, no, no earth sign wants to be associated with Pisces. I don't know. It happens to me. I'm a Capricorn and I have Venus and Mars in Pisces. And I've always been like, oh, no, no. Like, I had such a hard time embracing the Pisces nature. I'm like, that's a part of the chart that I don't like. Mm. Yeah. Hello. Mm. I'm a Virgo sun. Yeah, yeah. So you are in that. Yeah, it's so hard to empathize with Pisces. Yeah, it's so hard to empathize with Pisces because Pisces is so is like that energy that it can be anything. So sometimes it's a bit scary. It's like for me, I prefer since I'm like an earth sign. I do have water placements, but for me, it's like Pisces and even Pisces people, you know, I'm very suspicious of their nature because they can be anything. So for me, I'm like, I'm like, a potential danger, like, and even for themselves, sometimes is such an expansive, because it's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, but I think of Jupiter also with Sagittarius, it happens the same. I love Sagittarius. I love Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius people. But I did notice that sometimes they get very trusting, in like, oh, well, everything is going to be okay, and it's like, move. Like, there's something in there that you're like, where are you going? What are you planning? You know, um, but for me, Taurus also, like the people that I meet that are Tauruses, sometimes I'm like, they live so well and they don't care about a thing. They don't care about anything. Like they just are themselves and they are so peaceful. They're unaffected by things, and I'm like, wow, what a trait. I envy you. I envy your ability to not get involved. Um, Yes, I think if someone is a Pisces, then they need they need to have some other places to cancel it out. I had such a good experiences with Pisces. I'm a Virgo Sun and Libra stellium, so I'm very particular. Yeah, you're all about like balance. Like let's organize ourselves, please. I'm an Aqua North Node with Leo South Node. I might have been a queen. Strange because I'm so lacking in fire. Oh yeah, but that South Node in Leo is actually you knowing about yourself. It's like you are an expert about yourself, your individuality, what you like, what you prefer, what makes you shine. There's a lot of individuality. You come with that. You come with that, like, sort of, assertiveness. Like, okay, if you ask me what I am, I already know what I am. It's like this confidence. It's like it's not that hard for me to think about myself, to reflect about myself, to value myself. And the Aquarius North Node is somehow like inviting you to, like, what about the others? What about your community? What about the people around you? What about the planet? What about, the world? And you're like, oh wow, like I didn't think about them. Like, but it's really interesting going from Leo to Aquarius. Leo and Aquarius, I often find them very similar to themselves. It's like they are like very against each other. They're like, oh no, I'm so different from them. But I think that they're so similar. They are so similar. Um, because sometimes Aquarius, I do notice that with their need to be like, oh, I'm not like the other people. I'm different, or what I think or what I stand is different. There's this pride in their voices, in the style they claim things, or, oh no, we are not the same like these people, we are different, we Aquarius people, we are different. And it sounds like egotistic. It sounds like, oh wow, you really want me to believe that you're different. So it seems a bit like it's based on the ego. It's like, like the typical that now everyone says, like, I'm not like the other girl, not like the other girls, is a very Aquarius thing. It's like, oh, I'm not like the others. But it sounds very, very egotistic. It sounds like it comes from a place of like, oh, we're different, but pay attention to me. I wish I had more Leo placements than MC. I would trade my moon. What moon is do you have, Dani? Yeah, actually, we are missing Fluffy. Fluffy is the astrologer in the community. Fluffy is a genius about astrology. She's a Virgo as well. I love moon in Sagittarius. Why do you think that is? It's a nice moon. It's more fun to have a Sagittarius moon than to have a Scorpio moon. Or a Capricorn moon, where you overthink about everything and you're like, no, but having a Sagittarius moon is so fun. Like, no, just relax. A Sag moon is really good. I like it. I like it. No worries, like, no thinking about emotions. Funny that Aquas take pride in being special. I can usually tell when someone is any of the signs, but them. I needed a such moon to survive the two such suns I live with. Yeah, I know. Yes, probably, Dania, probably. Yeah, I have a Scorpio moon, and my mom and my grandmother were Scorpios. Very tough ladies, very tough, but tough to figure out. A lot of secrecy in the women in the family. A lot of like, like typical telenovelas where there's a lot of secrets and a lot of things in the family. And for me to have a moon conjunction Pluto also in Scorpio, I think that I always notice that, but at the same time, having the sun in the first house and also having Jupiter in there, I think that for me it's like, I think that it's a great tool to observe things and to be like, okay, there's darkness in here. Let's, let's let's expose it, let's get rid of the burden, let's get rid of the silence, let's get rid of the, I don't know, the possessiveness of, oh, let's keep this secret. Oh, we don't talk about those things. No, for me, it's like, let's talk about it. Let's get it out. Let's get it out of our system, and then let's advance. Let's advance. Enough with the secrecy. This is not a telenovela. This is your life. So, sometimes when I see that there could potentially be some female figures in my life, that they are like, no, 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 we don't say those things, or no, we don't talk about those things, or no, I think that for me, I stay away from those people, because I'm like, you cannot be like this, you cannot live like this. It's not, this is why I'm so grateful that probably the new generations of girls, of young women, or even guys, men as well, they have the possibility of of lifting the veil of certain situations, because sometimes with silence, with conspiracy, and like, oh no, we don't talk about it, in those things they hide a lot of things, and they prolong through the generations a lot of pain. So for me, it's like, let's face it. Okay, what is it? Is it painful? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Enough of the mystery, because also the silence can make you sick. Literally, it can provoke a sickness in you. So, let it out. Just detox, let it out. Of course, talk about it, face it, but don't go, carrying it like, oh no, 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 because we don't talk about it. Yeah, probably. I find that I like Gemini women. I don't know. I don't know if that's because of my Gemini Mars. Probably. Probably. As such, moons have marathonist complex. We can walk all day. We need to walk all day, or we go insane. I don't know why. It reminded me of Shiny Mino. Shiny Mino taking all the idols of his company to go running with him. Oh my. I think that the marathonist complex, I do love it. I do love it for Sagittarius, the marathonist complex. And I think that I do have it too, because I have Jupiter in the first house. So yeah, you remember what I just said, that I love the movement. I love to go in here from there, and I love to work standing up, and you just climbing the stairs, going up the stairs, I love movement. I love movement, dynamic, talking to this person, then the other person. That, I do love those. I think that this is how I stayed in a very healthy weight through the years, even though I had thyroids. There were a lot of people that, when I would tell them that I had, Hashimoto's, the thyroid of Hashimoto's, they were like, no, you don't. And I was like, yes, I do have it. No, if you're so skinny, it's because of all the walking. Okay, guys, I'm going to start with the readings, because then, my mic is going to fail, and it's so uncomfortable when it fails. But once I have, the new mics, that it works, that we will not be interrupted, we will be able to chat about a lot of things, about a lot of things. And also probably because my dad is an Aries, so I'm used to, he's so fast. Also, when he walks, I always have to chase him almost. And he's 80 years old, but he's so fast. He's so dynamic. My God. I always have to tell him like stop. When we were walking, I'm like, stop a bit, I'm right behind you. Can you wait for me? We came here as, as a duo. Can you please work with me? Do not be so egotistic and leave me behind. Wait for me. Wait for me. Acknowledge my presence, please. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start with the actor Jong Gi. Jong Gi. Hope that you can see. I want to see because why it's too. Sorry, guys, if I move the camera. I hope that you can see the table better, but you cannot see it feels like just like I'm not comfortable with that because you cannot. It's very. It's like I don't want my head to get cut out. I don't know why. Like, is it okay like this? Maybe it's the picture that. This is because the phone is a bit heavy. That, okay, sorry guys. Okay. I'm going to continue with Jong Gi, the actor. Thinking about what I can do. Because it cuts out the half of my head. I don't know why. I don't want it to look weird. Okay. For the actor, Jong Gi. Okay. For him, for Jong Gi, we start with the Knight of Cups. We have the Seven of Swords. We have the Queen of Wands in the middle. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and we have the Four of Pentacles for him. A lot of women. What is going on? A lot of women. And then from this Rider Oracle, we have the card of the phrase. It says, "Not every past time was better." Not every past time was better. I think that with the Six of Cups, usually when we think when we see the Six of Cups, there's something like, oh, nostalgia, the past, and thinking about the past, remembering the past. And with this card, the phrase is the message is it's very telling in this case, that not every past or past instances were better. Sometimes we tend to romanticize the past, and in this case, there's something about him, having to remember that I think that there's something about him comparing co-stars from the past. Could it be? Because I have a lot of queens in here, so I'm like, he's reviewing who he's going to collaborate with, maybe like in a romantic um kind of project, a K-drama, a movie, and with the Six of Cups, there's something about him being like, oh, but when I had this work with this actress, I had better chemistry, or I had better results, or I did better at this, and this card is like, not it's not true. Sometimes we think that it was better, but actually, you could have the potential of actually having a very, successful, sort of project connection with a new actress, or with someone that you haven't worked before, maybe younger than him, but very popular. And the card is like, give it a chance, because I think that for him, it's all about finding the right co-star. I don't know why. It feels like it's very important. It feels like it's very important. And also, when we start the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Swords, there's something also about maybe him, um, you know, does people want to get him to set him up with someone? Like, do they want to get him to, get married? Is he single? I don't know about this actor Lee Jung Gi, but with the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Swords, there's something about him that is so appealing, that maybe he is someone that is known for being romantic, flirtatious, like a gentleman. He's really good at relationships. This is why I'm like, if he participates on romance, kind of romantic dramas or romantic movies, is the best part for him. I think that he has this energy of just being so loving, and actually maybe he has really good relationships with his former co-stars. He really holds them up in a very high, pedestal. This is why they are so important in here. There's so many women. There are strong women somehow wanting to impress him. not only probably, to get his heart, but it could be also business. There's something about him not being sure, like, okay, who is going to be my next, you know, big co-star? I think that he's also a bit picky about it. He's like, get me someone experienced. Don't set me, like, don't get me, pair up with someone that I'm like, you know I don't know if I will get along well with that person. Probably he doesn't want, if he has like a co-star, he wants someone of his age, or someone that has been in the industry for a very long time. With the queens in here, there's a lot of maturity, there's a lot of like seasoning, people that know what they're doing. For him, it's very important. For him, it's like, I cannot give it my all if you put me next to someone that cannot act. So, but I think that he was, I don't know if what he has been working on, but there's something about him sort of escaping certain options, also certain invitations. Maybe people want him to participate in these kind of shows, and he's like, yeah, thank you so much, because he's so polite. He's so polite. This is with the Knight of Cups. I'm like, he's really good at saying no. He does it in a very classy and just very, even seductive kind of way. When he rejects you, or when he's about to ghost you, he does it in a very seductive kind of way. He's very smooth at doing this. But probably when it comes to, even relationships, this is why I'm like, I'm talking about work, potential work, and new work, but then I'm also talking about relationships. Probably there's something about him having a type, because these women here speak so loudly, like they really want to be number one in his heart. They really want to win him over. But I think that he has a type, and he doesn't move on from that. He has a type he has a type or he had a crush on someone and it didn't work out, or this person never paid attention to him, and he's so fixated on the past. This is why, the Six of Cups is reminding him, not everything that happened from the past was that good, actually. Is your own intention to trying to find a bit romantic and nostalgic, something that didn't happen, like you say. It wasn't a happy time. It was a very conflicted time. But yeah, he's running away from certain women. He's running away. I think that in the future there could be someone, maybe a new co-star or someone that he cannot get away from this person. He cannot. It feels like he wants to escape the possibility of working with this person, but she's so stubborn, and she's so like a structure, and she's like, even if you don't want to see me, I'm going to be there. We're going to be partners. We're going to be working together, because I also have an objective. I also want to, get paid. I also want to advance in my career. So I will wait for you. I will wait for you. You can run all you want. You can run all you want, but I will wait for you. I will wait. I will wait, and we will be a couple, or we will be like a great co-stars. We will have a great chemistry. But she's like, you're not going to interfere in my work. I'm going to make this a hit. So, whether you want it or not. So, stop sabotaging this. This is important for me. So it's very interesting. I cannot wait to see this woman. But he has a type, because the Queen of Wands here in the middle is someone that he holds so high in his pedestal that it's like he doesn't he no one compares to this person. um and I think that this is why, maybe it's so it's so um it feels like it's stuck in the memory of someone. um but yeah, he has to move on. I don't don't think that he needs to work. I honestly think that he's a very successful person. He's not in a hurry to get into a next project. Actually, I see him sort of evading things, but there's women in here that they are like, I want to have this role, and you somehow are part of it. So you're coming with me. We are getting this done. So yes, a very practical woman, very practical woman. Okay. I'm going to continue with the actress Jeon Yeo. Jeon Yeo. Okay. Okay, for Jeon Yeo, we have the Temperance, we have the Death card, we have the Queen of Swords in the middle, we have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Five of Wands. And then from the Oracle of the Rider, we have the Two of Pentacles. And the phrase, it says, learn to adapt when scenarios change. So adaptability. Learn to adapt when scenarios change. I think they're very strong, very, here in the middle we have the Queen of Swords, so she's very clear about, what she wants. She definitely comes from a very huge transformation. I don't know what happened to her, but, with the Temperance and the Death card, I wonder if she had like a sort of hiatus or if she put her career on hold for a while and until she actually got. I think that there's something about her healing herself or trying to find a bit of calmness and just staying drama free or stress free, because I think that she now that she's back, because I feel her very present in the reading, there's something about her no longer being the same person. She changed. This opportunity of her taking the time out, maybe focusing on herself, trying to heal herself, heal her energies, to calm down a bit, to find a more just to be more in a place of being in tune with what she really wanted. I think that from there's something about her in the past being very overwhelmed by people's expectations of her, and she's like, I needed to get away from all of that drama, because it wasn't my drama, it was for someone else, not for me. But maybe it affected her at some point. With the Death card, it's about her, maybe, now that she chooses certain roles or, the projects that she's deciding to do is all different. It's all, transformation. It's all very different from what she used to go for. Now she's more assertive, she's speaking up, maybe also her roles are very assertive, are very mature. There's something about her. I don't know why I think that she's like, I don't want to make could it be that there's something about her not wanting to do like comedy or just being funny? I don't know if in the past she had this sort of like work where she had to be funny somehow, but with the Queen of Swords, it's like, no, It's like I want to be, I want to be, play very smart roles. I want to challenge myself. I want, more experiences that are a bit much more interesting, intelligent. I think that for her, her mind is so clear, and she's picking up also. She's from this place also of authority of her, being very mature and being like, this I like, this I don't like, because this is very important also for an actress, to be able to say like, oh yeah, this I approve of, or this I resonate, this I will give my character, but these kind of things I will not do anymore. Sorry if you guys expected her to go for the same roles. No, no, there's something in her that changed and changed for the better, because something was making her ill. I don't know what, or stressing her about a past situation. She's like, no, about that, no more, no more. Um, and in the future we have the Ten of Cups and the Five of Wands. So I think that also she will have to, there's a very nice happiness, happy vibes with her people, with her colleagues, maybe with her with her closest people. But at the same time there's a lot of threats, there's a lot of threats. Probably there's a lot of like you know um, a lot of you know I don't know if people, I don't think that is criticism, I don't think that is people online, but there's something that is sort of threatening this happiness that she has with her people, or with her co-stars, or maybe with people that she has been working with. She actually is like looking at this, and probably she's not very happy about this, about people trying to attack her happiness or her happy times. I don't know if there's going to be drama, or if there's going to be like an issue with something that she has been working on. I don't see criticism, but I do see, with the Five of Wands, is people arguing, people not being, maybe, just being like, oh, this project that you did, we didn't like, or we found an issue with this that you did, or probably, people in this community that she's part of, or maybe the people that she has been working with, these people having issues with each other. And I see her more like she's not part of this, but she's watching this happen. So somehow she's also going to speak up, because she's like, why are you guys fighting if we all got along, if we were all like, okay, if we are like a family, why are you guys fighting for this? Like, why? I don't think that is people talking, because I will get swords. It's more like, a power of the egos, I would say. There's something about some people wanting more recognition, or some people having issues with another person. um I don't see a company, but could it be a company? But I think that for her she's observing this, and probably in 2025 is also going to be, a very eye-opening experience, her finally, maybe feeling comfortable with the people that she's working with, and feeling like, oh, this is great. I have a great community. But then, they start fighting, or they start, arguing for the smallest things, and there's drama. So for her, it's like, oh my God, why? Why? If we were having like the best time, like why? I think that somehow, I think that she's doing okay, because with the Queen of Swords, I see that she's very intelligent, and she definitely, knows when to middle in, and when to be like, okay, you guys resolve what you want to resolve. Like, I will not get involved. But if you ask her for her opinion, she's very cutthroat. She's very like, okay, you guys, like, you're messing up here. This is not correct. This is not good. But probably around her, there's a lot of there's drama. there's drama, or people are unsatisfied, or people are jealous of each other. So there's drama around her. There's drama. And for her, it's like, oh no, if this was such a nice project, like, why are you guys being like this? So, and she could actually notice this maybe in the industry in general, just maybe, co-stars or people working on certain projects. She just hearing people being, you know, all the time angry, like always going at each other, always having an issue, always being dissatisfied, always, like being angry, being frustrated. And she's like, why are you guys being like this? With the 10 of cups, it's like we have the potential of actually having a nice relationship, of being of actually, finding love and understanding. Like, why are you guys bringing all this drama? But I think that probably, I don't know, maybe, in the industry, there's some people that they feel like they deserve more than the others, or they want the spotlight. Or in this case, in her reading, I see her standing like the star. In her reading, the protagonist is her, definitely. Um she's not like, pendant. It's just that for her, it's like she's a new woman. So there's something about her seeing, some people being very um reactive and just causing a lot of drama, and her seeing it, and being like, why are you doing this? It's not worth it. I also think that she wants people to get along. There's something about her, maybe with all the process that she went through in the past, of trying to start over. She doesn't want conflict, she doesn't want drama. But at the same time, she's also someone that is going to tell you like it is. I mean, she's very honest. She's very mature. She's like, I have no time for mind games. Like, okay, if you guys want to destroy each other, go ahead, but don't get me involved in this. It's just that it's so sad to see that it's happening around me. Um, but yeah, the Two of Pentacles. I think that, yeah, these are times where maybe she feels a bit much more reflective, and she's observing a lot of things, and she's like, but trying to stay in her posture. She cannot. I think that things in this year 2025, maybe if it has to do with work or, projects, things are very sensitive at the moment. There's a lot of arguing, there's a lot of competition, people just not being on the same page, or people just resigning, and just being very angry in general. So the Two of Cups is like, you adapt when the scenarios change. You keep being flexible, because probably drama is going to continue for a while. I think that for her, it's like, I wouldn't be like, go and do something new right now. I think that she just has to navigate through this drama before going into something else, a new project. I think that she still has to, somehow finish the project that she's doing this year, and then see next year if she's going to find another one that is a passion of hers, or that is a passionate project, or that it makes her feel like, okay, this is for me. But seeing that she is like, oh wow, we were getting along, everyone, we were all getting along so well, and now everyone is fighting. What is this? But yeah, with the Two of Pentacles, is her trying to be flexible among the drama, and be like, okay, because it doesn't feel like it's a stable, her situation. I think that she's really enjoying it, because with the Ten of Cups, it's like she feels very loved, or she feels very welcome in there, but there's drama behind that. Okay. I'm going to continue with the actor Byeon Wooseok. Another one that came from drama. He's out of the drama yet, but there's a lot of competition around him. A lot of competition. I see that people get very on the defensive about his success. Very on the defensive about his success. Even people that say that they are his friends. He's someone that I don't believe in, like I'm not that I don't know much about spirituality or protection or thing like this, but I think that he would need it if he could have like a protection, because he's someone that he shines so much, or he's a guy that he really is, he steals the attention. He's someone that, he has the empress in the middle, so he's like, it's not about his beauty, it's also probably about how pleasant it is to be around him, that people feel threatened by his energy. We start with the Five of Wands. We have the Three of Wands. He always gets one. So I'm like, he's a very passionate man. He probably, when he gets involved in something, he puts his body to work, In the middle, we have the Empress, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Two of Wands. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. So very rich, very abundant. Like, my God, is he signing with a company or with a deal that is going to give him a lot of stability in the future, or a lot of stability in his projects? Because he's someone's golden child. It says in this card, the ten of cups, the phrase it says, "Don't wait to have it all in order to enjoy of life. You already have the life to enjoy it all." So, yeah, the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I think that the message is very interesting. It's also about ambition. Sometimes when we are, I also see a lot of pentacles for him. So there's something about, maybe him thinking like, oh, now I'm doing great in my career, but once I land that project that I want so much, then I'm going to relax, or then I'm going to start, relaxing and focusing more on myself and my happiness. And I think that he already is living a very nice life from what I see here. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of, I think that I kind of understand. I mean, maybe there's something about him that there's a part of him that he's like, he wants to accumulate more experience, more work. I think that everyone wants him, but there's something about him being like, I need to gain more experience. I want to do more. Because I think that maybe his experience in the business is not that positive. It's not, it's full of a lot of effort. This is why when I mentioned about seeing the ones, and for me, it's like, I see it like he has to put a lot of energy of himself, even if you see him like a very calm person, when we see the Empress, like, oh, he's a guy that he's always like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But actually around him, or the energy behind him, and even when I read for him in the past, it seems like it hasn't been easy for him to be where he is at the moment, or to gain, the successful opportunities, or to get the right deals, or to get paid even. There's something just very, I don't see cards that indicate that he's an amateur. It's not about experience, but I think that probably in the past he had it tough. And now that he's so popular, I would say, or he's so wanted and he's shining so much, he's very careful about what he's going to attract or do in the future. because probably he's like, I can sort of see that the people that want to hire me, they want to hire me for me to always be this. I mean, for him to be like the beautiful man, the co-star that is beautiful, the man that is wanted, the man that is successful, the man that is always beautiful, the romantic lead that is always the gentleman, to somehow put him into a box. And honestly, I mean, if he does say yes, it's a very good life for him to take these kind of roles. For him to be like the man, the pretty man, the beautiful man, the romantic man, like the man that inspires you to trust in love again. Um, but I think that he's like, well, he had been resisting to that for a while. I think that he doesn't want to be put in a box. But the cards are also like, you actually are really good at that. And people love you and you shine in those roles. So, for him to, for example, do an action movie, I think that, yeah, it would be good because actually he has the strengths, the body strengths, or the body to do this. But at the same time, with the Empress in the middle, it's like, why do these very like demanding roles when actually you can be like someone's love interest and just look amazing while doing this and shining and be rich. Probably his characters are all rich, or popular. So it's about embracing the beauty that he has. He's very popular, he's very wanted, he's going to continue to be very wanted. And also there's something that he's struggling a bit um with accepting with the Nine of Pentacles that I see here. That probably he feels a bit guilty about this, but it is what it is. Honestly, with the Nine of Pentacles, I think that he's always going to be the popular one. Like, for example, if he has a co-star and they have this beautiful love story and everything, at the end, the one that is going to get the more opportunities and is going to get the recognition is going to be him. Because he is the one that the industry wants. The industry is so like, we want to put money into this man. We want this man to be the main lead. We want this man to get the better deals. It's all about him. It's all about his personal growth, people investing in him, investing in his money, investing in promoting him. Is all about him. So sometimes maybe he feels a bit awkward, like, well, but I also work with amazing people that made this possible. Yeah, but you are the star. You are the one that they want. So somehow he has to, get used to that idea, that he is the protagonist. He is wanted. He is wanted, and the other ones don't matter. Like, honestly, like, I don't see other people. I see that it all benefits him at the end. And he has the potential of being very successful, being very celebrated, and actually gaining the experience that he wants, but also getting a lot of money. I do see the money here. But it's very obvious that the companies, whoever is buying this, they are like, we want you. We want your face. It's like, oh yeah, no, but in my project there's other actors as well. No, you are going to be our representative. We want you. We don't care about the others. And he's like, oh, okay, okay. But yeah, the Ten of Pentacles also gives me, like I said, like a sense of, when you are part of an empire, somehow the Ten of Pentacles is like, when you are part of a legacy or of a very important brand and they want you. So him probably becoming like the face of this brand, the face, but very successful man. I like this for him. I like this because I can see that, that the road to be here, it hasn't been easy. This is why there's a part of him that he doesn't fully trust. Or there's a part of him that he's always thinking about, like, do I say yes to this or do I choose something else? I don't think that he wants to escape possibilities. I think that he's very grateful. But there's something about him, like, he wants to share his popularity with others. He feels like he has to. He's very generous like this. He's a very generous person. But the cards are like, you have to become more individualistic because they just want you. They want you. You are the star. Okay. I'm going to continue with the actor Kang Ha Neul. Kang Ha Neul. Kang Ha Neul. Mm, yeah, I think that it's going to be a very successful month for him rest of the year. I can see it. But this is another one that doesn't have it easy, and there's a lot of hard work put into this for him to have these happy results. He's a very happy person, nevertheless. I think that he's optimistic, but maybe in his career he had a certain, I don't want to say attacks, but there's people criticizing his work or the way he works. Five of Swords for Kang Ha Neul. We have the Star. We have the Eight of Pentacles in the middle. We have the Chariot. We have the Ten of Cups. And then the Four of Wands. And the phrase, it says, enjoy every moment. Stability only lasts a little, or only lasts a few moments. Stability is just a moment. So it's like enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy the stability while it lasts, or enjoy the party, or enjoy the celebration, enjoy the happy times, because it's going to be a brief moment, but it's going to be happy times for him. Yeah, starting with the Five of Swords and the Star. There's I think that there's people that question his stardom. Maybe people are like, yeah, we know he's famous, but we actually are a bit against, his fame. People maybe online, they criticize him very much, or they criticize everything that he does. It's like, yeah, like, I don't like it. Yeah, and I think that he knows this. He knows this because, with the Eight of Pentacles in the middle, he's so hardworking. He's like, whatever you hate of me, I'm going to become better. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it better. I promise. He's very hardworking. He's a very hardworking man. I think that He really tries to deliver something new, something different. He probably hears the review of people, or he hears what people have to say about him. I think that he's someone that despite of maybe the criticism or what people say here with the star card, maybe people are like, oh, it's just because he's famous, so people maybe are against that he's famous, or they taking him for granted because he's like, oh yeah, yeah, that guy, he always lands the roles because he's famous, or he knows people from the industry. And he's like, no, actually, everything that I get it because I work really hard to get it. I'm a perfectionist. I work really hard. I work extra hours. I work, just like the others and more, So I think that is very necessary to give recognition to this man, because he's always thinking about like, okay, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? So it's very admirable, I would say. And also the way he takes criticism, because I think that he's aware of the things that are being said of him, but instead of him being like, oh my god, like these people are haters, he's like, no, 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 I learn from this. I learn from their feedback. Okay, what do I have to change? I would change it. So it's very nice. It's very nice. He's very focused. He worked very hard this year. There's something about him putting a lot of effort. And I think that probably, at the end of the year, maybe he is going to get recognition at the end of the year, like an award. Um, but I think that he's a very happy. Is he married? Is this man married? Because I think that he's going towards happiness, besides him, finishing the work. I think that there's something about him running towards happiness. And I think that 2025, the end of 2025 is going to be, of celebrations, just like he got the Four of Wands. There's something about everything in his life, just going very well, going very well. Um, but yeah, yeah, I think that this is very positive for him. Definitely, definitely. So I'm like, does he have his own family? Because I see him sharing this with the people that he loves. I'm like paying attention to this. I'm like, this is like happiness in the maximus of expression. It can be happiness in different aspects. It's not just like money. I don't think that he does this because he needs money. I think that for him it's more like his calling. Is like he's a really good actor. Probably he's a really good professional, because he works really hard for every role that he has. He works really hard. He never stops. He never settles. He's not someone that is like, oh yeah, I got the script, so I will go with the flow. No, he always adds something unique, something of his, something different, a change and a strategy. He's very tactical. There's something about technique. He has a lot of technique. So everything that you see of him is him putting the work, is him, adjusting certain things of the way he delivers, his work. So it's not like, oh, I'm an artist. It's all like in the air. It's all like improvise. No, he doesn't improvise. He works really hard. He adjusts. He's a perfectionist also. So I think that if he does get like a recognition, or if people do appreciate and give him an award, I think that they really should. But he's happy, and also he's happy with his whole people. Maybe with all the people that worked with him in the past. He had built such a happy community, that he's like, this is what matters to me also, that the people that I work with are happy, that they are satisfied with what they had created with me. I'm just an employee. I'm just one person. But what makes things happen is all of us together. He's all about the community. He's all about, the group of people that work in this, not him. It's not about him. It's not about him. He's not self-centered at all. But also he's someone that he works really hard because he wants his projects to be a success and to go somewhere. Or he wants to help maybe his colleagues to impulse their career, moving forward. They want them to advance. He wants them to get the deals. He wants them to get, more recognition. He's someone that he works towards progress. And he probably is always thinking about like, okay, how can I help you? How can I help you? Like, do you want more deals? Do you want to get this gig, this job? I will help you. You will get famous next to me. Something like this. He's so nice. He's so nice. But yeah, with the 401s, it's like he's not going to last a lot. Probably he's going to get a recognition or a good feedback or just like a nice celebration, and that's it. Probably then he will have to work on something new. But it's an instance. It's a happy moment, but it's just very brief. But he's happy. He's not, he doesn't doubt himself. He's just very well established, and he's a really hardworking man. For people that think that he just, he gets his scripts from the air and he's just lucky. No, this man is not lucky. This man is all about work. It's all about practice. It's not luck, not at all. Okay, I'm going to continue with ITZY Yuna debuted as an actress. Her debut as an actress of ITZY Yuna. Let's see, ITZY Yuna. Who is she working with in this project? And what project is this? Because they don't make it easy for her. She's doing her best to shine and be very professional. Yeah. Okay, for ITZY Yuna debut as an actress, we have the Two of Cups, we have the Nine of Wands, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the middle for her, Ace of Wands, and Five of Pentacles. And then we have from the Oracle of the Rider, we have the only way to detox ourselves is for our emotions to burst, to flow. Five of Cups. I think that she, having her here with the Five of Pentacles, I think that she definitely is preparing herself. She's very professional. She's getting ready. Her energy also feels very like, very light up, like she's really ready to do this. She's very stable, everything about her is very stable, is very professional. She's ready. But there's something with the people around her that I'm like, what is going on? Because whoever is running this project, they are going to mess up. Something is going to happen that is going to spoil things for her. I don't think that it's about Yuna doing something. I think that honestly, from the beginning, when I see the Two of Cups and the Nine of Wands, it's like, why do I feel like when they gave her this, um, there's no contemplation of how the other part feel? Could it be that they gave her this and they didn't ask her if she wanted to do this? Because there's something about these people that arrange all of this, they didn't take her into consideration. And and they didn't even listen to her or what she has to say. They're like, okay, you will go and do this. But because she's a professional, we have her here in the middle as the Queen of Pentacles. She's definitely preparing herself. She's ready to do this. She's ready. She's very responsible. She's very, mature. She's very organized as well. So she's used to be working. So there's something about her being like, okay, whatever I have to do, I will be ready. I will master this. I will master what I have to do. I'm not confused. I'm ready. I'm ready. And she having, this also this maturity. There's something about her just knowing what to do, being very serious, being very practical about this. And also we have the Ace of Wands. So there's a lot of, a lot of um, about her, taking the lead and being like, okay, what can I do, to be better, give me a feedback. Okay, do you want me to improve this? Okay, I will do this. A lot of energy, a lot of, independency. There's something about her being independent, not having people to tell her what she has to do or how she has to do it. She knows already. She's very well prepared, entertained, not entertained, trained. She's trained to be in these conditions of work. So there's something about her just knowing what to move, where to move, or she knows it's work. She knows it's serious. She knows there's a certain order, and she's perfect for an acting role, I would say. Um, um, she has a lot of potential actually as an actress. I see her a bit stiff, a bit, maybe entering, this project just being very serious because maybe, for her, this is a serious matter. This is something that she's like, no, I have to study, I have to prepare myself, I have to get, the information, I have to organize, It feels like probably, it could, I don't know what her role is going to be, but maybe it's going to lack a bit of emotion. She's not going to be like, oh, the typical, like maybe her role is not emotional, but it seems like when it comes to strategy and her, being prepared, she's definitely very well prepared. But I see the Five of Cups, the Five of Pentacles. So I wonder, what is going on with this project? Are they running out of money? Are they going to postpone this again? Because I think that it starts very like abruptly and all of a sudden it slows down with the Five of Pentacles. It's like maybe she requests something or she's like, okay, do you want me to do this? And they're like, no, today we have to stop or we have to cut some of your scenes because, we are running out of a budget. We are running out of time. We are running out of resources. I don't know. It feels like this is not well prepared. This is not, I wonder whose idea it was because it feels like, and also I think that also she wasn't welcomed properly. I think that with the Two of Cups and the Nine of Wands, there's this resistancy of her, having to adapt to maybe, a collaboration with someone that maybe is a bit on the defensive about working with her. um but she's, with the Queen of Pentacles in the middle. I'm like, this girl is so mature. She's so that even if things that don't go the way she wants, she's going to be like, I gave it my all. I showed up and I was as proactive. She's very mature. She's not going to feel like regretful, like, oh no. but but yeah, with the Five of Cups, there's this feeling of like, oh wow, this is sad. you know, the this could be the part that she could get a bit emotional out of, you know, everything that she has to go through, because it seems like it's very high in energy. When it starts, every like the emotions and the energy is up, and then, you know, it goes down. So it feels like a huge disappointment, huge disappointment, huge disappointment. But I don't think that is about her, because she's very well centered in here. It's just that maybe the project is not that well arranged. Okay, I'm going to continue with Ahn Bohyun. See. Things are not that well in the Korean acting scene. I think that is very different from the vibe that I got from Chinese artists. I don't know. First of all, there's no emotions. Like, you know, when I read for Chinese actors and actresses, there was like this emotionality, you know, this emotional element. And here it's like I'm afraid to lose opportunities. Like I'm like, you know, I'm tense, you know, about the whole thing, the whole process of, you know, landing something good, landing something, you know, it's not that. It feels like everything is in a tragedy near them, so it's not that like fluent, you know. I feel it in the readings are not that fluent, but you know, I just deliver what I see. In the case of Ahn Bohyun, we start with the Three of Wands, the Death card, we have the Two of Swords in the middle, we have the Sun card, and we have the Seven of Cups. And then from the Oracle of the Rider, we have the Four of Pentacles. That it says, I didn't want it to escape, so I broke it, of how strongly I hang on to it. You know, when talking about the pentacle, you know, literally, when you hold on so tight to something because you don't want to lose it, you end up breaking it or damaging it. So it talks about being stubborn. You know, he's a Taurus man, so the Four of Pentacles is very Taurus energy. So honestly, I think that his career with the Two of Swords in the middle, you know, it feels very unstable. I think there could be a new project in the future, that or more opportunities to come, maybe at the end of this year and the beginning of the 2026. But it feels like this year, maybe he had certain options, or he had like certain projects that they just didn't come true. You know, with the Three of Wands and the Death card, you know, it's like, you know, I had projects, I had my vision on something, I was going places, I was going to travel to this place, I was going to, you know, record this, I was going to start working on this, and all of a sudden with the Death card, is like it dropped drastically. Something happened and everything changed, and it was canceled or it was interrupted, and it didn't continue. It just died. um so I see that for him, probably that also took him out a bit of the sense of stability that he's used to. He's with the Four of Pentacles. He's a man that definitely he has to have his options. He has to have at least one option saved. He has to have the stability. He has to know that he possesses possibilities. And there's something about this year feeling very unstable, feeling like, yes, and we are talking about this, yeah, we are negotiating, we are arranging something, but it all is like in the middle. It's like, and even if he's been like proposed something, like a new drama or a new, is something more like on the lines of, yeah, like he even himself, he's not even sure about, like, if he said something, if he said yes to a project, he's not entirely sure. He probably said it because he doesn't want to run out of options. He doesn't want to run out of options. But the one that he really wanted, the option, the possibility that he really wanted, somehow it vanished, or it didn't come true. So for him, it's like a bit of a low blow. It's like, oh, that one was the one that I wanted, not this one. But with the Two of Swords, he's like, okay, I'm seeing possibilities. I'm saying maybe to certain projects, but I think that he's not sure about his career or his life in general in this year, 2025. 2025 feels very weird for him. Feels very, I think that it definitely dislocated him, that it took him by surprise, that this project that maybe he was already starting, and somehow it finished, it it disappeared. It had to be like stopped. And for him, this was something that just took him out of his comfort zone. He's sort of used to this. I think that there's something about him being like, yeah, these things can happen in the industry. I know this, but he's so like he wasn't able to recover himself after this news. So with the Two of Swords, it's like him being indecisive. He's like, yeah, probably I will take this job, or I will take this gig, or I will take this project, but honestly, I'm not that convinced. I will do it because I have to do it because he has to hold on to something, but there's something about things not flowing, But then in the near future, probably is this project that he's a bit unsure of, with the Sun and the Seven of Cups, things are starting to light up in his career, in his life, and he probably will enjoy it more, or he will start seeing the potential of this new opportunity, and he will start to have fun, get more involved, and get more exposure. I think that for him it's important, to have exposure, to maybe to have deals, to have brand deals, to be seen, to going to different shows, having different, to be exposed. The Sun card is all about like, okay, you guys invite me here because I'm popular. It's all about popularity. And I think that he's like, but where I'm not getting the role, when you're like, I'm getting that role that is launching my career, is pushing, is boosting my career. 2025, it feels like, so far it's been slow, so far it's not what he wants, but then at the end or the beginning of 2026, there's more opportunities coming his way. There's like a boost of his popularity or more exposure, because of this work that he, or his opportunity that he took, that actually he's not very sure about. It's like he took it because he didn't have another option, but he wasn't that sure about this. But I think that it's going to go very well. It's going to pay off. It's going to be fun, actually. It's going to be very, very uplifting, and it's going to, open up a bit, the part of not having much possibilities. Because for him, with the Four of Pentacles, but I think that there's something, with the Four of Pentacles that definitely it talks. This card also talks about possessiveness, and this is something that him being a Taurus man, I think that it makes sense that maybe he has to apply this not only in his career but also in his life. Don't hold on too tight to people or situations because you end up like breaking them. Don't hold on so tight. It's like don't asphyxiate people in situations. Maybe he gets a bit intense. He's like, no, I want that role and it has to be that role, and it's going to be this, and there's something just very important that the cards are like, you know this career of yours it can go through moments of a lot of instability. There could be a lot of opportunities appearing, but just like they appear, they can disappear as well. So there's something about him embracing um you know um uncertainty in this work, in this line of work, and maybe also him understanding that if this kind of work makes him anxious and gets him a bit paranoid and gets him a bit on the possessive mode, and he's worrying about his finances, about his place in the industry, I think that there's something about like, okay, if you cannot be flexible, if you cannot let go of control, maybe this is not the industry for you, because you have to be ready to just let it go. And if it's for you, if it's meant for you, it's going to come back. But you cannot, hold it like this, because it doesn't matter if someone promised you a great role and they are like, we are thinking of you and we are sure. The same happens when you go to job interviews. You go through the interviews, they say that they like you, that they love your profile, that you are amazing, that they love your style. They are like, we will contact you soon, and maybe they won't. They don't contact you, or you pass all the interviews and the last one, the final one, you don't pass it. So I think that it's about him, like maybe he's holding on very tight to a certain I don't know, a role that he had in the past, that it was very nice for him, or it was very productive for him, or it was very prosperous for him, and he's like, I want that kind of role, or I want to go back to those kind of roles. But honestly, what is available at the moment when it comes to K-dramas or maybe even movies, they're not that good. They're not that good. It's all, there's a lot, but their quality, like, the one, if you think about it, like, think about it, guys, if you were like K-drama actors or a potential actor, when you're like, I want to launch a movie slash drama that boosts my popularity and that gets me more deals, or just boost my career and makes me very successful. And honestly, in the K-drama, from what I'm reading, there's not good roles. The only thing that you can sort of like maybe aspire in this industry is for it to be fun, for people to talk about it for a while, and then they will move on to something else, because it's not created to be. It's like a fast food of dramas. It's not even created to be unforgettable. It's more like it wants to get you hooked the next few weeks. And then, when there's the finale, yeah, they want you to talk about the finale, and just you're going to see a lot of interviews of people going to different shows and talking about it and their experiences, and then they're going to go away. It's like this. It's that express. It's that unpredictable. Is that like, yeah, it was great while it lasted. Enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy the popularity while you have it, because the sea of opportunity is a bit dry. Thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to continue with the actor Seo In. Seo In. I don't have any reversals in my cards, but this one came in reverse. Okay. He's a very sharp man. Very sharp man. Very talkative. Very talkative. Very loud. Talks a lot. Okay, for him, Six of Wands in reverse. I don't have any reverse in this card, but it came in reverse. Okay. Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords, Eight of Swords, and the World card. And the Nine of Cups in this Oracle Rider. It says, remember when everything you wanted, now you have it. It's about a wish fulfillment. You know, remember those times when you wanted something and now you got it. Now you finally got it. So also remember what they initiate they initiate how this dream initiated, you know, when it used to be a dream, an aspiration, and now you have it. Now you have it. He's very stable. Just that he's so talkative. I wonder why he talks too much. Or why he there's something also communication is also the internet, you know, and it's very interesting because I remember I read for him, I believe it was on the season of his birthday, I remember, and I did a reading for him. I believe, I don't know if it was last year that I read for him, and I was like, you know, he got cards that it was like, you know, you need to, you know, I think that he got the Hermit, or I don't know what, the Four of Swords. There was something about like, you know, just go inwards, just, you know, don't expose yourself that much, you know, just, you know, take some time off. And then, you know, he actually did the totally opposite because he kept working or showing himself. And I remember in that time there was this starting these rumors going of him working with in a project with Jisoo, with Blackpink Jisoo. So people were like, you know, your prediction got all wrong. It got all the whole opposite because he's working now more than ever. And I was like, you know, it can also be, you know, I also accept that maybe I saw something different, but I think that for me it's more like the cards now, if you took it or not, it's a different approach. But there's something about him, I don't know if he shares too much or if he talks too much, but somehow the cards are like, slow down a bit, slow down a bit, you know, don't get that impulsive. You know, it's not about him not doing things, but I think that there's a mental stimulation. You know, there's something about him wanting to show everything that he does, or he wants to talk all the time. And, you know, maybe the strategy is not the best because it seems like everything is saturated, is going nowhere. Um, he is successful, definitely the success, I do see it here. But also here, I'm like, who rejected him? Because this, I don't read reversals. My cards are all, you know, upwards. But this the Six of Wands wanted to come out in reverse, so I took it. You know, and it's next to this woman. So again, you know, there's something about this woman is also very communicative. You know, it's the Queen of Swords, but there's something about him maybe, you know, wanting to talk or just have more interactions with someone, and this person is like, no, 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 This person is like, no, 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 no. Rejected, rejected, like no. Um, but he keeps talking. I wonder what he talks about because in the middle we have the Ace of Swords. So I'm like, maybe he's going to create a post and just share about his experience working with this person. He's going to say something because he feels like I have to share this. I have to express this. I have to share this with the world. Literally, we have the world card. I have to share this with the world. But, the Eight of Swords in the world is like the world is not going to receive it very well. It's like, somehow the cards are like, not everything has to be exposed. Not everything has to be expressed. You do have to keep some mystery around you. Is this about the actors going to having YouTube channels or something like this? Is this about like overexposure or something like this? But for him, to not run out of ideas is very important. For him to not run out of ideas is very important. This is why I'm like, this man needs to stop, thinking about new, I don't know, ideas for content, new ideas for a photo shoot, new ideas. Like he's all the time thinking. He's all the time thinking. He's all the time thinking. Maybe he wanted to have like an interview with this person, and this person is like, no, I'm busy. No, I cannot. No. But he's so intelligent. The thing that I can say is that he's so intelligent, and I think that he is the mastermind. Whatever he creates or whatever he shows or puts out in the world is his creation. His mind is very sharp. He's very intelligent. He's very curious also. But I'm like, why are you talking so much? Like somehow also the world is like, please stop. Stop. Like, why does he talk so much? Because I feel him actually like inside there's something that he's stuck. He's stuck, and his response is just to keep communicating. I don't see him like being problematic. Not at all. It's just that he's so eager to communicate. He's so eager to have the first word, to have it's like this journalist, like I want to have like the news, the premiere, the I want to be the one that delivers the news. He overthinks a lot also. Maybe could it be? I don't know about this actor, but could it be that he cannot move on also from something? I don't see a relationship nor something, but he's stuck in something. He goes in circles. He goes in circles. I don't know if he talks about something that is like the same all the time, that you're like, why are you bringing this up again? This is why I'm like, he talks compulsively because I think that he wants to make sense of something that happened to him. He doesn't want silence. He doesn't stand silence. I wonder what happened to him. He's a very anxious person. This is why I'm like, Can you, you know? He's so prideful because there's something about like if this woman was like, oh no, I cannot. He's like, okay, that's okay. Yeah, I know. No, okay, I will do it myself. Like something like him getting up. He's like, it's okay. I'm not hurt. It's okay. I got this. Like him thinking like I always got me because no one saves me. Like I always have to save myself. I understand. It sounds like an only child, like something like I'm an only child myself. But there's something about like I will finish this myself. I will fix this myself. I can do this. I got this. This is why I'm like the projects, the ideas, everything that he does, it comes from him. He probably has people around him, but there's something about everything comes from him. He is the mastermind. There's something about like why, but he cannot move on from something, and I wonder what is this. But yeah, remember when this card it says, remember when everything that you wanted, now you have it with the Nine of Pentacles. I think that, yeah, this is, there's a lot of anxiety in this man. And somehow the Nine of Cups, it's like you are very successful. Remember when you just started, this was like a very vague dream of yours, or you never thought that you would be in the place that you are right now. So there's something about him somehow appreciating and, being satisfied with what he has. That maybe, is not perfect. Maybe there's something about him feeling anxious about his career, him feeling like, oh, I have to create something new. I have to do something new. I have to create something new because, and he's like going around and round and round, and the Nine of Cups is like, you already made it. So enjoy it, so be satisfied with what you have. There's people that don't have it, but it feels like, he feels the anxiety of like, what's next, what do I do next, um and it's something that he does for himself. No one is pushing him, no one is like, you have to do better, or no one is like, oh, what is your next move. No, actually he is the mastermind. Like I said, he is the one that creates these thoughts, these perceptions of like, I'm not good enough, so yeah, I don't see him even like enjoying, and this is why the Nine of Cups is like, you have plenty, you are abundant, enjoy, you deserve it, you have worked really hard, just sit down, enjoy, don't think about tomorrow, enjoy. He's obsessed with technology also, because with the swords, I'm like, oh my god, could it be that he's chronically online, or he's like always looking at what people say of him, or um, okay, I'm going to continue with Jihoon, the actor Jihoon. Okay, for him we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Two of Swords, we have the Tower in the middle, we have the Four of Swords, and we have the Queen of Wands. This man wants a break. And here we have the Eight of Pentacles. It says, learn to take care of details. Learn to take care of details. Wow, this man is so... This man is done with something. Is done with something. Like he's like, no more. No more. I don't know what he had been working on in the past, but this is another person that I think that for him, you know, maybe the things that he did in the past or the latest roles or something like this, or the last project that he had also, you know, I studied it. He's a very slow paced person. So I, you know, with the Knight of Pentacles, I think that he reviews better his projects. It's not like he jumps on a project and he's like, yes, I will do it. But also, just like, you know, when I read for Ahn Bohyun, that he got the Two of Swords, there's something about this that he decides to work on that he's not sure. There's this feeling of like, yes, I said yes to this, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. Or the conditions of my work are very unstable. And even though I go prepared, and I go very patiently, and I go with all my tools, with all my experience, I go and I approach this. I don't know, maybe the style of working of people that is so unpredictable, that is so like, yeah, now you know, tomorrow is another thing. They change constantly the script or whatever they do. But he's like, you know, it leaves me feeling like it gives him this very awkward feeling of like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think that this is the worst thing that, you know, because if you notice, there's when I read for certain you know, for certain actors and actresses, you know, there's always pentacles. So people come prepared to the set. They know their lines, you know, they have studied, they have prepared themselves even physically. So, you know, with the Two of Swords, it's like, but once you go to, you know, be involved in the process, there's a lot of waiting, or there's a lot of, you know, no, like this, no, we're going to change this, you know. And I think that for him, he's like, you know, I had a very bad time. I had a bad time. I don't like not knowing what is going to happen next. I feel uncomfortable. So in the middle, we have the Tower. So I think that, you know, if it could be that he said no to participate into a new season of something, because he's like, he's making very drastic changes, and probably also his life is drastically changing. He's like, you know, I said yes in the past to certain projects. Now, you know, I'm changing my strategy because it's giving me headache. Like, no. Also, you know, learn to take care of details. You know, there's something about him being like, you know, I should review better my options. I should review better my options. Or I should, there's something about him being like, you know, I don't know how to work with younger people anymore. Like somehow he needs like an extra preparation on how things are done today. So, you know, sometimes somehow, you know, the cards are like, you know, think about the details, learn about the details, you know, don't go and improvise, just think about the details, you know, get attached to the details. Because probably in the past he was like, oh yeah, I'm sure this project is going to be fun, or it's going to be easy, or like I could already see, you know, that this is going to go like this, and somehow something happened that is full of uncertainty, is full of changes, is full of yes, maybe, no. So, you know, he's like, he's traumatized by this. He's like, he's not enjoying this. 2025 is not a year where he's enjoying being an actor. But, you know, he's also learning, like, you know, I have to review better what I say yes to. With the Tower is like, you know, something happened. I don't know what, but something happened that sort of, you know, broke his could it be a review? I don't see criticism, but I think that he went blindly into a project and somehow it didn't go well. And he wants to, maybe for the rest of the year, there's something about him going to a bit of hiatus. But I can kind of see like a very famous actress coming to get him at the end of the year. He's like, no, you're not going on hiatus. You have to work with me. No hiatus for you. No hiatus. I want you on my team. You have to come work with me. He's very loved. He's very wanted. He's a guy that, he doesn't have to move around that much. The opportunities appear, chase him. And yeah, this is what I see for him. I think that he wants to rest. He's like, I want, to clear my mind. I just need, like, something chaotic is also happening in his life. I don't know what it is. Is he in a relationship? I don't see cups. So I'm like, it's not about the cups literally being here, but I don't see him like romantic. I don't feel a romantic vibe. I think that it all has to do with a very slow life of his. But I don't know, maybe he's married or he had been in a long-term relationship and something is happening, something is falling apart, something is ending abruptly. So I think that this is why he has to watch out for the details, or he has to watch out for something, because it hasn't been that successful. Actually, for him it's not about success. For him it's about peace of mind. He's like, I don't want to be in this indecisive mode. I don't like it. I want to know what I'm getting myself into. I don't want to be like blinded by possibilities, by options. But yeah, this woman is like, you are not getting the hiatus that you want. You are coming to work with me. I have a proposition for you. Could it be that they worked before? They worked together before with this girl, with this woman? She's like, we are coming back. We are working together again. I kind of like him. I like him. I like his energy. But yeah, it must be a very confusing times or a very confusing moments. He's like, I need a break. Okay. And the last one is for Krystal Jung for future projects. Let's see if something comes up. Hmm. She had the Ten of Swords twice. She's a bit disappointed with the industry. A bit disappointed, I would say. I'm like, she's been getting offers, but she's not sure about it. She's not sure about it. Also, do you see how she makes me frown? How she makes me like, no. It's like she could take things here, but I think that she's more interested in learning a new skill or maybe studying or perfectioning herself. But projects, they are very green still, and they are still on the making, or it's like a proposition that is in there. I don't think that is 2025. It feels very much in the darkness. Like you cannot see, what is this project that you are really offering me? What is it about? Oh no, we cannot tell you that much. What is it about? So, like, okay, for Krystal, we start with the Hangman. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Four of Cups in the middle. We have the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Moon. I see that she keeps, she never stops perfectioning herself. So she's a very studious person, but I think that the right project is not here yet. And then the Ten of Swords again. And in here the phrase it says, everything has its last days, even your worst thoughts or your worst perceptions. So yeah, she got the Ten of Swords twice. So I think that she's also in a process where she's like slowly, maybe, she had a bad experience, or there's something about her, from the past, having to stop, or just, reflecting a lot about, just having not so positive thoughts or perceptions about the industry in general. So she comes from, I don't want to say like it's depressive, it's like all depressing thoughts, but I think that she really felt like she needs a time to reflect a bit. I think that this year has been tough for Krystal mentally. I think that she has been like observing certain dynamics or certain things happening in the media that it had affected her. She's like it had like somehow like remove, like somehow it touched a fiber in her, of something unfinished or something that she had, also maybe past trauma that she had herself. So there's something about she recovering from this. I think that these are like, just like the card says, these are like the final stages of, you having those ugly feelings, or those memories maybe, or those perceptions. But I think that for her it's not like lack of opportunities, it's not like, oh, no one is calling me, no one is, no, I think that she does get a lot. She does get a lot of, opportunities. She does get a lot of invitations. There's people that want to see her, there's people that want to invite her, and she maybe comes and she's like, yeah, I will go. But her attitude is always very detached. It's always very like, it almost feels like she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want, she's not that excited to participate, and she probably is a bit apathic. She's not feeling the love for the entertainment business this year. I think that she's maybe, focusing on working more on herself, working more on, doing some shadow work, working on her own doubts, on her own insecurities, on her basically not trusting anyone in the industry. When we think about, maybe, music or K-drama, there's a lot of things that for her is like, I've been offered certain roles or certain opportunities that I feel like, first, they don't go with my values. Second, it doesn't have anything to do with me or what I'm about, So I think that she's more like working maybe on something that is totally different from the industry of entertainment. Maybe she's studying or she's learning a new skill that is much more practical, that somehow helps her to get more in touch with the real world, with the practical matters, with maybe, studying science. I don't know. I think that she's a very studious person. She's very intelligent, but there's something about her being like, about the offers of projects. I'm still a bit indecisive about this. I don't feel well. I feel like, I'm still a bit like affected by everything that is going on. I don't think that the vibes are correct. I don't think that I don't see people even, I cannot even say like, oh no, she has issues with this person. No, I think that it's like an overall sensation of like, I don't trust these people. They come to me with offers and I just have no idea what they're offering or have no idea what they're talking about. Or maybe they do offer me something and I already feel it in me, like I don't want to say yes. Because it's not, there's something about maybe there's like a new version of Krystal, there's a new Krystal that she's like, I'm working on something different. I'm working on myself, I'm working on another side of my life. And I don't think that, whatever you guys are offering me, I don't know. She has a very weird feeling. She has a very weird feeling. A feeling of like, I don't trust anyone in there. So, but I do see her perfectioning something. I do see her studying or working very hardly on something. It's just that it also is something that is temporary, and also it could be something that with the moon card, there's a part of her that she could be like, yeah, I'm perfectioning something, some skills about myself or something about myself, but I don't even know what the outcome of this is going to be. At least not this year. She's very deeply hurt, disappointed. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. She could go to social events where she's invited, to hang out. But yeah, guys, this is all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, I'm surprised why I didn't get many women. I got more like men, actors, not actresses. But yeah, next Sunday is going to be dedicated to Japanese actors and actresses. And so, yeah, let's see, if you are a fan of J-dramas, Japanese dramas, or movies, if you want to leave your recommendations for the next Sunday live stream, I'm going, um, I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be reading for them. So yeah, I'm going to create a post so you can leave in there. Please leave in the comment in the community post. Please leave the recommendations in there when I create them. Because when you leave them in another video's comment, sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget, or I don't come back to the comments, so I forget. So I would prefer when it's all, organized under the community post. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for everyone that, submitted the recommendation. I hope you had fun, and I wish you a very lovely weekend, the rest of the weekend and the beginning of the week, okay? See you on Wednesday. Bye.